بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Mr. Speaker, Jasm al-Khrafi, members of the Diplomatic Corps, President Taul McCaver, Provost Shear, members of the faculty, parents, friends, but most importantly, the maiden class of 2008 of the AUK, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Well, when Dana called me and asked me to deliver the commencement address for this year, I immediately said, how can I say no to the prettiest chairperson in the world? But then she said, don't get excited. You are not my choice, but the choice of the student body. And here I got a panic attack. Why would the students of AUK choose me to give the commencement address? What kind of speech they expect from me? So I immediately summoned my best trusted advisors. Basically, those are my kids. And I asked them, why do you think AUK students wanted me to give the commencement address for this year? My first child, the philosopher Maryam, we call her the philosopher because she majored in philosophy major at the University of Virginia. She said, well, you are Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, duh. She always has such a profound logic. So I said, okay, if that's why they selected me to give the commencement address, then maybe they want me to talk about the duality of Kuwait's global role as a smart international financial operator, and we have some of them over here, and also simultaneously as a generous philanthropic donor. And I want to tell them the story, the remarkable story about how Kuwait planned about 60 years ago to hedge for a post-oil era by creating the first sovereign fund, and that was the creation of the Kuwait Investment Office in London. And also I want to tell them about the genius of our late Emir, Sheikh Jabir, when he created the Fund for Future Generation about 30 years ago. And that basically was to provide, which was basically a tax of future generation against the current generation, and to provide sufficient fund to sustain life in a post-oil era. Such a far-reaching and far-sighted and clever and smart policies have placed Kuwait well in the heart of the international financial markets. And I would tell them that Kuwait do really possess the necessary condition for the creation of financial center. Kuwait has a sound financial institutions and a very sound legal and regulatory infrastructure. Altogether put, such fundamentals lay the basis for Kuwait's future strategy, and that is to create out of Kuwait a financial center of a major proportions. And furthermore, I also said maybe they want to know more about Kuwait philanthropic activities, and especially in the area of aid giving and charity organizations. Kuwait Fund was the first of its kind in many ways. It has granted assistance to more than 100 countries around the world and expanded its operations in all the 6 continents of the world. In addition to that, the charity organizations have been fighting hunger, poverty, and disease in many less fortunate societies. And as a show of such inherent tendency to philanthropy, His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed has called recently for the establishment of a decent living fund to fight hunger in the Islamic world, to which he contributed $100 million. And I said also, maybe I should talk about our next 5-year plan. I should tell the students about our next 5-year plan. At this point, my second child, Sabah, which we called the General, because he's the first and the only Kuwaiti to graduate from West Point in the United States. He jumped in and said, hold on. And he said, Father, and he said it in a very authoritative and self-assured way. He said, Father, believe me, those kids do not care about your next 5-year plan. What they want to know is really what is the relationship between you and the AUK old building that exists in Salmiya, which is basically Rawdat al-Salmiya. And also, they want to know how you designed your career, what kind of tactical maneuvers, strategic alliances, motivational forces you used to get this kid, meaning me, from Salmiya, Rawdat al-Salmiya, all the way to get a PhD in economics from Harvard. And he is, in a way, he's right. I do have emotional and career attachment to Salmiya campus, because that's where it housed the Rawdat al-Salmiya, my first school. And come to think about it, my educational roadmap starts in Rawdat al-Salmiya, moved on to Al-Razi, to Abdullah Khalaf Dhayyan, Salmiya al-Mutwasita, Thanawiyya Turmaythiyya, where I shared the same classroom with my brother Amad al-Atiji, and moved on to Georgetown Prep School in Washington, D.C., Clearmont Men's College in California, and finally at Harvard. So in my educational career, I had 8 schools, 8 stops. And it might be a shocker to you, but I have to say it. Out of these 8 schools that I attended, only 2 were co-ed. Rawdat al-Salmiya and Harvard.